Hi, my name's Gary. I'm the customer support manager here at Martin Lynch and Sons, and I'm today accompanied by the workshop manager.
I'm Steve, as you probably know.
Steve, yeah. I've asked him to do me a bit of a favour today, so we've kind of got this. How would you describe it?
Tiny radio.
Yeah, a little tiny radio.
Yeah.
It's beautifully made, this little radio.
It's quite amazing, actually.
It is. It's nice. It's a nicely made radio, and I think well, I mean, I think they've really knocked it out of the park, sort of hardware-wise.
Yes.
But we're going to drill into it a little bit.
We are. So
with a very basic setup, we're going to drill into it and try and maybe debunk some of the online myths
or whatever. I'm just going to do some sensitivity measurements, and we're going to look at the TX side of things on the spectrum analyzer to see how clean it's going to be. So hopefully that will be of some interest to some of you guys.
So I think first of all what I'll do is I'll just grab hold of the radio and just have a little look and just look at the quality of the build, which I think is exceptional. So that's what we'll do first of all.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's have a quick look at the radio sort of close up, and I think you'll see that the fit and finish of this radio is pretty much exceptional. I think it's amazing finish. They really have knocked it out of the park when it comes to the finish of it. Now, one of the big grumbles was the VFO knob was actually not straight, and I think this is straight out of the box as new, and I think you'll see what I mean. That's perfectly straight. If it's got a fraction of a wobble there, but it's absolutely nothing in real life. The camera is actually picking that up. I think the display is exceptional. It's a good quality display. The knobs and stuff are a good feel. It's got a really interesting sort of protection around the side. I wouldn't want to drop it. I should imagine that these sort of edges would probably get bent and maybe get stuck on the knob itself. But they're there, for the lighter knocks and sort of bangs. But yeah, I think the whole thing is really, really good. The buttons are fairly straightforward. It does seem to be configured up quite a lot for CW. Around the back, you've got some good connectivity. Let's pull some of these cables out. You've got an accessory port there, and I'm told that there will be a digital interface available shortly for it. You've got obviously there's a COM port there, power in and a key, and you've got a ground connection, and it uses a BNC connector there for the antenna. So what we're going to do is we're now going to hook this up to the kit that Steve's brought down, and let's get cracking with that.
So going on from what Gary's just said, we're going to do basically 2 tests. We've got 2 pieces of equipment here that you'll see. We're going to do a receiver sensitivity test, see how good it is, and then we're going to have a look on the spectrum analyzer to see what the spectrum's like, see how things like the second harmonic, how far down it is and things like that. So just some very simple tests to see how good it is.
Yeah, and from our point of view, it's going to be pretty blunt.
Yeah. So exactly. So, it's, we've been discussing it a little bit to see what we could say. Just bear in mind the market that this is aimed for and how it compares. It's not going to be as good as a £5,000 radio. Don't expect that. But for what size you have here, it's going to be a good little QRP radio. Something that you could put in your pocket and take to the park, and maybe it seems to be set up quite a lot for CW. It does, yes.
Yeah. So I'm also told there's going to be a little digital interface which is available, which
pretty good.
Yeah, it might be good. So we'll see. Time will tell. Yep. So without any further delay, what are we going to do, Steve?
Okay, we're going to start off on the do the sensitivity. I've got it sort of partially set up here. I've got the the signal generator set up to 14.15 megs. I've got the radio set to pretty much the same frequency on upper sideband. And what I've got here at the moment is we do two tests basically when we're testing equipment out. We do a 50 microvolt signal, which is around about minus 73 dBm, if you want it that way. And we see how well the S meter is calibrated to S9. Unfortunately, there's no S meter on this. You just see a nice little spectrum spike.
I think there may be, but it just might mean it might mean reading the manual. All right.
Okay.
So there are a few things about this radio we just haven't got into.
Okay.
So
all right. Yeah, it takes a little while to get used to radios.
Yeah,
anyway.
Especially with these sorts of menus.
And then what we're going to do is turn the signal level down that's coming out of the signal generator, and see sort of what level we'd expect it to be. So let's start off. At the moment, I've got, you can probably see here, it's going to be minus 63 dBm coming out, but we've got a 10 dB pad here, so that makes it basically minus 73 dBm, which is equivalent to 50 microvolts. Now,
and for the layman, kind of what does that mean?
That means that's your S9 marker. That's sort of like the industry standard for if you get an S9 signal, you've got about 50 microvolt signal going in. So that just sort of shows you how the signal is calibrated. So what we've got here. So that's you can see it, but I haven't switched it on yet. Now if I turn it on, there you go. Right, so you've got a nice signal coming out there. You should be able to see it just up here.
Yeah.
Pretty good. So what we're going to do now is turn that level down, and we're going to go down to where we can just about hear it. Here we go. So we can see it's going down, down, down. You hear the noise coming up, and we should get to about minus 110. We can probably go a little bit. We can't go any lower than that because my poor old signal generator won't go any lower than that. Not this one anyway. You've got Marconi's upstairs do. But if you go minus 110, take off another 10 dB, that's minus 120, and that comes out to around about sort of 0.22 of a microvolt, which is really good. That's sort of actually beating some of the oldest equipment that we have in the workshop when we get for testing. So as far as the S9 signal, as I say, Gary said that we don't actually have it on the display, but it was, you could see the spike there quite pronounced, and then you turn it down to about minus say 120 dBm, that is fine. That's no problem.
Okay. So what's the verdict then? Do we think this is a good receiver?
Oh, the receiver's very good. Yeah, I like it.
Now, we have done some other tests prior to doing this one, and we know that the receiver is pretty much the same throughout the HF range that the radio can do. So now we're going to
just do a quick rearrange.
Swap over.
Yeah, all right.
So bear with us. We'll be back.
We'll be back in about
a millisecond.
A millisecond as far as you're concerned. All right then.
So we've swapped everything over, and Steve's just going to jump on this and just show us what the TX looks like.
Yeah, and don't forget you need to put it into CW mode.
Okay.
Actually, I think I can do it here.
Yeah, you can just press that little thing.
That's it, and that's it. Right,
that's it. Right. So we're just going to.
Oh, lovely.
Oh, nice. Right.
Brilliant.
Okay, you go there.
Okay. Right. Okay.
Dance.
So what we've got coming out of the radio, it's currently set to, we think, about 10 watts. It's going through a 30 dB attenuator coming into my little spectrum.
Well, I will say something about that actually, because the radio itself is designed as 5 watts. But we've measured it upstairs, as I said earlier, and we're actually seeing sort of 7 to 8 watts here and there. So depending on where you are in the range. Okay. So typically it's going to be expected as 5 watts.
Okay.
But
all right. So anyway, so that we don't blow up my nice spectrum analyzer here, we've got a 30 dB attenuated through-line attenuator there.
It's a suitcase, I feel.
It is, yes. So because otherwise these things get a little bit unhappy with too much power going into them. Right, so in that case what I'm going to do is I've got it set to now to CW mode. We're just going to send a little bit of CW, a continuous tone, and we can see the first harmonic here is pretty much at the top of the screen. That's almost at our reference level, and then we've got probably about the second harmonic is around about 40 to 43 dB down, and the third harmonic is about 10 dBs lower than that. So it's not bad. It's not bad. As Gary said earlier, if you're going out QRPing, things like that, it's not going to be a problem. But as I said earlier, don't expect it to be as good as a big base station radio.
I mean, we bring this sort of up anyway because there's a lot of the videos out on YouTube absolutely sort of slating everything, and we just think that it's undeserved of a little radio like this. I think it's got a purpose, and I think that purpose is just really as a backpacking type radio, and it's perfectly good enough. There's nothing wrong, I don't think, with the signal really. It's not ideal as if it were an expensive radio, but it's not. So I mean, if you're looking at, so we said earlier on DX10 or something like that, which has what filters in it, quite large filters, so it makes a big difference.
That's right. If you look at the filter boards in other bigger radios, they are as big, if not bigger, than the whole radio. So you would expect them to be a lot better. The other thing you can do as well is buy an aftermarket low-pass filter. Yeah, which I believe we sell. So if you really were concerned about that, just stick on a low-pass filter on the end of it, and Bob's your auntie, so to say.
So there you go. So I think. Do you think we've summed it up?
I think so. Just a quick video.
I like the little setup. I mean, this was a bit of a surprise on Steve. I said, "Can you just sort of hash something together for me?" And so there we go. So
if you've got any repairs that are outstanding at the moment,
you know Gary. Why? It's all my fault. But anyway, no kidding. It's right. The radio itself, I think, is great value for money. I think at the time of doing this video, I think it's about £350, which I think is. It's great value. I mean, even if you used it as a receiver.
Yes.
I mean, it's really that good. Quite nice, got a nice little display and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, I hope that you've enjoyed this something for the weekend.
Yes.
We've really worked hard to get this to go the last hour and a half. So, but anyway, all good.
Right.
So,
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You.
Yeah. Okay.
See you next time.
Yep.